Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about value. As a business, to give value, you need to give value. And I think that we need to stop just focusing on, a sales funnel, a customer's journey. I think those things are important, but we need to try and understand that we need to give value before we can get value, right? And I think that brands need to stop just focusing on conversions. I know I'm going to be stepping on a lot of shoes by saying this, but brands need to start focusing on interaction, conversation, communication, engagement. So are we communicating? So it's not a one-way street, it's not a one-way communication, it's a two-way street, right? Where brands are beginning to be concerned and curious and want to speak with the general audience, and not necessarily just their customers, but the entire space where they work, right? And I think that when we start to see things from a place of giving value, we're able to design products that people want. And because we don't start with designing the product, or we don't start with, talking about the product to people, but we start with giving value, right? So if you're, what are you, a fashion designer? Can you give value? Give people fashion tips, tell them what it takes, how it builds your confidence, what would it take for you to build your personal brand, and things like that. And so that way you're not just selling value, you're not just selling products, but you're building value. You're telling people what that does for them, right? And so that way you're able to connect with your audience. And I think for you to give value, you need to connect with your audience. You need to tell your audience why they need to work with you, why they need to give you attention. And I think that to get attention of your audience and to get attention of the people that you want to sell to, it's not so much about paying for ads to get their attention. It's more about give them value, and when they find that what you're giving them is valuable, they pay attention to you, and then you necessarily can sell to them. But when you're selling to them, you're selling a solution and not necessarily just putting in their face that they should buy from you. So this is a point where value shifts from products to interaction. And so you're not using your product to give value, you're using your interactions to give value. So what you're selling or what you're presenting to the world is not the product, is the experience. And so you're presenting an overall experience which would be sparked or would be heightened by the interactions that you provide. And so your product is just the end goal of your interactions, and not your interactions the end goal of your product, if that makes any sense. The reason for this is that new products doesn't necessarily change things. It's the way we interact with them that changes, right? And so you can find a new product, and our interactions with them is what makes them what they are, and not necessarily the products in themselves. This is not to say that if you have a good product, design is not important. I think it's super important. But it's the interactions of the people with your product that makes a whole lot of difference. And once we can develop strategies and develop, our mindset around interactions, we're bulletproof to win. So that we shift our focus as brands from just, I want to sell, I want to get to the market, I want to make sure that people see that I'm the best in the market. People don't care about that. And once we shift our focus to a place where we are like saying, hey, we want to interact with the audience, we want to understand what the audience thinks, we want to understand what people love about us, we want to understand how they feel, how they emotional, how did they go on today, how can I provide value for the people that I'm targeting, such that that value is what speaks for itself. And a brand is only as valuable as the conversations it can have with its customers and the audience, right? So if you want to see a valuable brand, it's a brand that is able to communicate with the audience. And some conversations may not even be like verbal. It could be by looking at the brand, I feel a certain way. They communicate with me. There's a connection, there's an emotion that I get by just looking at the brand, right? When you're looking at cars like BMW or Mercedes-Benz or Land Rover, or when you're looking at a brand like Apple, you use a MacBook and things like that. There's a communication, there's a way it communicates to you. There's a feeling you get when you use those products. And so, but I still feel like there's a place for not even those kind of interactions. Those interactions are great, but interactions, just because of the age of the internet and where we are in today's world, being able to interact with people will make a whole lot of difference in your brand. So today, if you've not thought about a strategy around how you want to be communicating and engaging with your customers and the people that you're targeting, you need to do that today. How do I want to provide value? So let's forget about the products for now. For today, we're not looking at how am I going to sell my product, how am I going to market my product. We're looking more about how am I going to provide value, how am I going to provide value to the people I'm targeting? How do I provide value to my customers and the people that would soon be my customers? If you do that, I can bet you that your business is in a way to success. Thank you.